Okay, so I have started the recording. So let me go ahead. So as I said, we have two difference between one major difference between UiPath Studio and UiPath Studio Pro. So the only one difference is when you go and create a new file, a new workflow in UiPath Pro, you get two options, that is test cases and test data driven test cases. Wherein, as I said, in this new update, we came up with the test cases, which was not there in the previous version. So we are not bothering about it. So be it Studio or be it UiPath Studio Pro, it does not matter. You can still continue with the workflow. And the one major difference is that we have Studio X and Studio. Now, Studio X is a very basic version of the Studio, wherein we call it as the citizen developer, as in anybody in the world can come up and automate using UiPath Studio. So we have an option over here. So when you click on settings and you can click on license, here you have change your profile. So here you can either switch between UiPath Studio X or UiPath Studio. So probably people who have by mistakenly open up Studio, you can always come back to setting, click on the profile, and then you can switch back to Studio or you can switch back to community. So Studio is very simple. Let's say for example, you have your mother or a father probably who they can also start with Studio X, because it is as simple as it is, because whatever functionality you see over here, those functionalities have been out of this, some limited functionalities have been taken, and we have developed a very new UiPath platform called as UiPath Studio X, wherein everybody in the world could participate and build their basic own automation that they have. So we even ran a challenge for the UiPath Academy for the kids. So we have kids starting from the age of 7 till 14 15 who are comfortably building bots using UiPath Studio. So they either build UiPath bots using Studio X, or some of them they use the UiPath Studio also. Okay, speaking about that, let's quickly jump on to the topic that we have today. So let me just create a new sequence and let me name it as recording or recording one, and create it. Now, what do you mean by recording? So if you see, let's say for example, if you remember the example that we did for Notepad, so or any other example that we earlier did, so all we used to do is we used to go to the activity panels and we used to drag and drop the activity that we wanted. So this was the case for each and every automation that we build. So if you remember this RPA challenge example that we did, so even for the RPA challenge example also we did the same thing. So we dragged and dropped each and everything. Even for the contact details, we dragged and dropped each and every activity that we were working with. Now UiPath Studio has another very good feature wherein there is no need to drag and drop the activity each and every time. If you can start recording the screen, and then you can go ahead and continue with the recording possible. Now where do you see the recording? You can see the recording in the menu bar. On the top menu bar you can see an option called as recording, and in this recording you have multiple options of recording available. Now I'll guide you through what are all the options available. So the first two options are basic and desktop. There is no difference between basic and desktop recording. It's all together the same. There's only a minute difference. Probably I can let you know later. But at at all, there is no difference between basic and desktop recording. Now, what do you mean by basic and desktop recording? Let's say, for example, you are building an automation, and that automation works on Windows application. Let's say, for example, Notepad. Notepad is a window application, a PDF file or a PPT or any application which is Windows based. So you will go ahead with either the basic automation or desktop automation. Now, let's say, for example, you have a requirement where you have to build an automation which works on web, such as Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Edge. At that time, you have to go ahead with the web recording. So you, at that moment of time, your desktop recording or basic recording will not help you out, since it's a web browser automation. You have to go ahead with web recording. And we have one more category called as image and native Citrix. So image and native Citrix are both together the same thing, wherein the ultimate agenda or ultimate aim is if we want to automate a virtual environment. Let's say, for example, you have Windows OS machine, and then you have another OS machine installed in your laptop. Let's say, for example, you have another virtual box VMware or Oracle box virtual machine, and you have another Windows OS running onto it. So in that particular time, you have to go with either the image or the Citrix. Citrix is basically the environment. So the same type as in we have Oracle box, we have VMware, we have VirtualBox, we have the Citrix box available. So we have a different category for Citrix. So if you have a Citrix environment, you have to always go with native Citrix, or if you have any other kind of environment, you can go with the image. So you can see image will work with VMware and all other environment, virtual environment that you have. Computer vision, probably some of you might not be able to say computer vision because Academic Alliance does, in the curriculum of Academic Alliance, computer vision is not included. We'll also not see it, but majorly we'll focus on three major categories. That is the basic or the desktop, which is useful for desktop recording. The second one is the web recording for web browser automation, and the second and the third and the last one is the image, that is building an automation on the virtual environment tool. Okay, so for the sake of simplicity, we'll go ahead with the same example, that is we'll go ahead with the notepad example, so that it makes us much more familiar, much more similar, because we have done the notepad example before, so we can relate to the same example now over here. So it's very simple. All you have to do is you have to click here and you'll have to say which recording that you want to go ahead. Let's say, for example, I'll say I want to go ahead with the desktop recording. I'll say basic recording. There you go. So making sure the notepad is opened up. Now, the moment you click on recording, a new window opens up where you have some n number of options available. So the very first is the record screen. So this is where all the recording will happen, or you can manually click on any of the activities from here. So you have start application, and you have start application and close application. Then you have click activity, type into copy element, image, and so on and so on. So if you see over here, the recording has a limited set of activities. It does not have the entire range of activities available. It has basically the commonly used activities available. So let's say, for example, click, type are some of the commonly used activities. So all those activities are bundled together in the recording, and then you can use it from the recording toolbar. Now, if you remember the Notepad application, our very first step was to open up the Notepad application. So if I click on start, I have an option called a start application. So I'll do start, and then I have to point out onto the screen which application do I need to start. Obviously, I need to start the Notepad. There you go. So this is my first step that has been recorded. Now, for confirmation, it will ask you, is this the application that you want to open up? Notepad exe, yes, I want to open up this. Argument, we will skip as if now we're not interested in it, so we'll skip it. I'll say okay. So if you see over here, now this button has become live, that is save and exit. That means my recording has been started. So basically it has started recording the first step. Now the second step was typing into it. So I'll say type. Where do I type? I type here. And the moment you click on the text area, a balloon comes up which says type your message. Let's say, for example, I type my message. I say hello. Now there are two things over here. One is type password. Let's say, for example, you're typing password, so you can click this box if it's a type password. So you can see the text sorry, so you can see the text has been hidden, so it's a special characters which comes up if it's a password, or you can always say it's an empty field. An empty field basically means if there is something already written into the text area, it will first erase everything, and then he'll type the new message over there. And the moment your message is done, you press enter, because it says here press enter when you are done. So I say I only want to write hello, I'll say enter. So you can see the hello has been written. Now the second step was I need to click. So where do I click? I click on file. Now the moment you click on any of the application, this window will come up, which will ask, do you want to anchor it? As of now, I'll say no, because we don't want to anchor it. Now, because we are pretty much familiar with what is anchoring because we did the RPA challenge example, right? And in the RPA challenge, if you remember, we did an activity, we used an activity, the activity name was anchor. If you remember, anchor based activity. And why we were using the anchor based activity, it was because each and every time my form elements were changing. So my ultimate aim was I'll anchor it first and then I'll proceed with the next activity. So he's also asking the same thing to us. Do you want to anchor it? Now you have to ask a question to yourself. Is there really a need to anchor it? That means, is the position of the file menu going to change ever? So the answer is no. My file menu will stay here for lifelong. At no point of time my file will come here or my file will be available here. My file will always stay here. So in that case, I don't need to anchor it. I'll say no, I don't need to anchor it. So there you go. So I've clicked on file, that's done. I need to click on file save as. So obviously I can't click on file again. So all I have to do is I have to pause my recording. I'll say function F2. I'll wait for 3 seconds to go up and then I'll say save as. So there you go. I'll click on save as. Again, the same thing, anchoring. I'll say no, I don't want to anchor it. There you go. And so my third step is done. That is save as. So probably
Excuse me,
I'll.
sir.
Yes, sir. Do you have any doubt?
Yeah, sir, could you please repeat this step? How to pause it little bit slow?
Yeah. Pausing is basically the F2 function key. So in the keyboard, you have the F2 function key. So you can click on the F2 function key and then you can pause the recording for 3 seconds. Okay, so let's continue further. And then what we have to do over here is we have to type the text over here. So I'll click on type. I'll say type. Where do I type? I need to type it over here. What do I type? So I'll say my file name should be hello. So I'll say empty field and then I'll say enter. You can see hello has been written. And the next thing is I need to save. So I'll say click. I'll say save. There you go. And the last step would be clicking again and then closing the notepad. Do you want to anchor it? No, I don't want to anchor it. There you go. So it has been closed over here. Now, is there any other step that is remaining? So the answer is no. In that case, you can say save and exit. So I'll click on this, save and exit, and there you go. So you can see the moment I save and exit, I can see my recording has generated all the activities for me. So let's look at all the activities one by one. So the very first activity was open activity. Okay, so it is opening up the notepad. Then it is type into activity, perfectly fine. Then file, click on file. Okay, click on save as, good. Type into, save, and then close. So if you remember, when we did this notepad example, our step was same. But what we did is we dragged and drop each and time all the activities from here. So we can even avoid that. So instead of dragging and dropping it, we can make use of the recording screen and we can do the application easily and much more faster. Okay. So let us quickly run this application. So before running this application, I'll make sure that the hello file is deleted from here or else it will say us, do you want to replace it? Okay, fine. So let me go ahead and run the application again. So I'll say run file and what are we expecting is the same thing. That is, it should open up a notepad. Okay, hello, file, save as, perfect. Mhm. There you go. So let me open up do a refresh and you see here is the hello notepad with the type hello. So now you can build automation at much more faster rate because recording helps you out to do it. Okay. So does people have any doubts over here?
Can you please repeat it
Yeah,
once?
sure. I'll repeat it. Okay.
Please repeat it.
Yes, sir. I'll just repeat it once again. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat box if you have any other questions. Okay, so we don't have questions here related to this. I'll whatever question is there in the chat box, I'll address it once again over here. Okay. So I'll just delete this complete automation and I'll do it once again for everyone. So the recording is very simple. I'll click on recording from the menu bar, from the ribbon bar, and then I have to decide which recording do I need to do. Do I need to do a desktop recording or a web recording? I'll say I want to do a desktop recording. That's fine. Then you have to make sure that you open up the notepad and keep it ready, and then you can start the recording. Now, there are a couple of activities available. I'll go ahead with the activities first. So what the first step is? My first step is I need to open up the notepad. So I'll click on start application. Which activities do I need to use? Do I need to use the start app or the close app? Obviously it's a start application. So I'll click on start app. I'll point it, which application do I need to open up? So I say I need to open up the notepad. There you go. So it's asking me for a confirmation. Is the application name correct? So my application name is notepad.exe. That's fine. Okay. So you can see the save and exit is up. That is, or that means my recording has been started. My first step is completed. That is opening up the notepad application. Now, after I open up the notepad, the second step is typing into the notepad. So you can see we have a type option over here. I'll click on type. I have an option called as type. So I'll say type. Where do I type? In the text area. Okay. So this is a balloon message which comes up, which is asking you, please type the message that you want. Okay. So I'll say the message name is UiPath. You can click on empty field if you want, or you can directly say this is the only message and click enter. So you can see the message is already been typed over here. Now the next thing is clicking on file and then clicking on save as. So we have a click activity here. I'll say click. Where do I click? I'll click on file. Do you want to anchor it? So I'll repeat, what does anchoring mean? In the last exercise that we did one exercise that was RPA challenge. And in the RPA challenge, we had to do basically the form filling, but each and every time the form element, the form look and feel was different. So what to avoid that, what we did is we made use of an activity. The activity name was anchor based activity. So what does anchor base do is basically it finds the element first and then does the automation. So the recording is also asking me the same thing, as in, do you want to anchor it? So what have we done so far is we have only clicked on file. The moment I click on file, he's asking me, do you want to anchor it? So my question is, do I really need to anchor it? Because is the position of the file going to change in the notepad application? The answer is no. My file option will always be here. That is, will always be at the first position only. It is not going to come here after help. It is not going to come here, or it is not going to come at the bottom. My file will always remain here. So in that case, I need to anchor it. If my position changes, then I have to anchor it. If my position does not changes, I need to anchor it. So I'll say no, I do not want to anchor it. Okay. So clicking on file is done. Then all I have to do is I have to click on save as. So I'll say click. Now you can see the save as window is not available. So I'll just pause the recording. So I'll press the F2 function key. So you can see the pause timer 3 seconds has been started. So there you go. I'll click on save as. Okay. Again, the same thing. Do you want to anchor it? I'll say no, because my save as option will be there only, no matter what. There you go. Now, after you click on save as, basically what happens is a new window comes up, and here you want to type the file name. So I'll click on type and I'll type the file name. So let's say, for example, the file name is UiPath. I'll click enter. Okay. So ideally, this thing did not happen correctly because the file name was something else. So we can do it again if you want. So I'll say type. Where do I type? I need to type here. And then what do I type? So I'll say my file name is UiPath. And if in case I want to empty the field, I'll say empty the field. There you go. And then I click on enter. So you can see it has erased the first text that was available, and then it has typed the new text which was UiPath. There you go. And then I have to click on save. So I'll say click, I'll say save. There you go. And then we have one more step available, that is I need to close the application. So we can do it in two ways. Either you can do close application over here, or I can say either click or and then close application over here. So as if now I'll not close the application, I'll say my recording is done. So I'll say save and exit. Okay. Now you may ask that we haven't done the closing of Notepad application. It's fine. In recording, let's say for example, if you have missed something or if you want to add something, later on you can even add it by dragging and dropping it over here. So I can still do the same thing. I'll drag the click activity here and I'll say I want to close this application. That will work perfectly fine for me. Even in between the recording, you can delete and enter the text. So if you see over here carefully, we had type into activity done twice. So I'll delete this type into activity. I want only this type into activity UiPath to be there. Okay, so everything looks fine. File, save as. Okay, so this is how the recording can happen. So I hope this is clear. People who still have a doubt, let me just check the chat message.
Sir, one question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's say, for example, I want to make a copy of the sequence. Is there any option inside UiPath to do a copy
Copy
of
as
the
in?
current sequence?
Okay.
As in, yes.
So you want to
correct.
copy some of the activities from here to the other file?
No, maybe I just want to copy the whole thing so that I can
you
have the
can do
original
that.
and then modify.
Yeah,
How do I
correct.
do that?
So you just click on the entire Notepad sequence, just copy it from here, and then when you come here, you can directly right click and paste it over here. Got it?
I see. But if I want to copy the whole thing, not just a part of it, can I, like what we do in like Excel, that you just have to make a copy of the tag?
Yes, so ideally we do the same thing, sir. So let's say for example, we have this Notepad application built in already. So your question is, I need to copy the entire activities, correct?
Yeah, the entire tag.
Okay, so I'll just copy it in front of you. I'll say copy and I'll paste it over here. There you go. So you get the entire workflow here again. So this is the copy and this was the original workflow that we had.
Okay, got it. All right,
okay.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, so do we have some other questions over here? People can please unmute themselves and go ahead. Let me see the chat box till then. I'm having a bad time finding the chat window. I have to minimize everything and then see the chat window. Okay. Can we publish and reuse? Yes, of course we can publish and reuse. I'll tell you later how do we publish it. Okay. Fine. So I'll show you the other way of recording. So it's again one of the simpler way for recording. It's much more simpler than it. So let me erase everything from here and I'll show you how to do it the other way. So let me just open up the notepad and keep it ready. And there you go. So I'll click on the desktop recording. And then now if you see carefully, instead of using all those activities present here, I'll directly say I want to record. I'll say record. You can see the recording has been started. So the first thing is the notepad application. There you go. Now nothing is happening over here. You can see nothing is happening over here because in the recording, we cannot start the application. In the recording, we can do some of the very basic things as in clicking, type. So these are the very basic things that you can do in the recording. So I'll just delete everything from the recording and I'll do the recording again. So I'll just click on start the notepad application. There you go. So this is ready. Now I can simply click on the recording. So what do I do? So first thing is I'll point out that I want to type in the text area. So I'll click on the text area. The moment you click on the text area, UiPath recording is so smart. He understands that you need to type something. So you come up, so you can see there is a window which comes up which says type into. So I'll say I'll type my message. So I'll say my message is welcome. Enter. There you go. What is the next thing that we need to do? We need to click on file. So I'll click on file. No anchoring. I don't need an anchoring at all. Okay. And then click on save as. I'll say save as. There you go. So we'll wait for the new window to come up. There you go. And what do you do over here? We click on the text area. I'll click on the text area. Text area is basically to write the file name. So let me say the file name is 123. I'll empty the field over here and I'll say enter. There you go. What do we do next? I'll say I'll click on save, and then the last thing is I'll close the notepad application. There you go. And I'll press the escape keyboard key, so that my recording window comes up. Now I'll say I'm done with the recording. I want to save and exit. Now you can see all the steps has been captured here the same way as we did earlier. So this is much more simpler. So we need not need to, again go and click on each activity from here. I can do it from the directly recording, but making sure that the recording is limited to very basic things, as in type into activity or click activity. So you cannot start the application from here using the notepad application. Oh, sorry, using the start application. So all you have to do is you have to make sure that you manually click on start application, and later you can click on recording, and then you can proceed further. Yep. I hope everybody has understood it. If in case anybody still have a doubt, do let me know. Let me see the chat box if we have any other messages over there.
Sir,
Okay.
please quick repeat.
Okay. I'll repeat it once again. So let me just delete the entire recording again over here. There you go. So let me just open up a notepad for you. There you go. And then I'll click on recording. Now the first step is I need to mention him. I need to start the application. I'll say start here. There you go. Done. Now, instead of clicking on activities manually, I'll say directly record. Record is so smart that he can understand whether it's a basic type into activity or click activity or some other basic activity. So the second step was to type into the notepad. So I'll click on the text area. There you go. So he's so smart. He has identified that you have to type something. So I'll just type my message over here. So let's say my message is a recording. So I'll say my message is text is recording. I'll hit enter. There you go. Now what's the second thing that we need to do is we need to click on file. I'll directly click on file. Do you want to anchor? I'll say no, I don't want to anchor it at all. There you go. So after clicking on file, where do we click? We will click on save as. There you go. So there is no need to pause here because it's just mimicking the user action. So whatever we have done so far, we are just mimicking it. So it's the same recording. Whatever the human does, we're doing the same thing over here. So I'll just click on save as. And then on this window, we will enter some text over here. So I'll say my file name is record. I'll hit enter. And then I'll click on save. There you go. Okay, the file name is not proper, so we have to correct the file name. So I'll just empty the file name and I'll say the file name is record. There you go. Clicking on save. Ideally, clicking on save should save the file. What is happening now? Okay, let's do it one more time. So I'll say close it. I don't want to record it. Let me open the notepad again and let us go ahead one more time. Okay, so I'll start the application. This is the notepad application that I need to start up. Perfectly fine. I'll say hit record. I need to type. I'll click on the text area. I'll type the message. So my message is recording. I'll hit enter. The next thing that I need to do is I need to click on file. I'll say do not show me again because there is no anchoring needed. I'll say no. After file, I have to click on save as. So I'll click on save as. There you go. Perfect. So a new window is coming up, and here you want to type the name of the file. So let me say the name of the file is recording, empty the field, and I'll say hit enter. After that, we need to click on save. Okay. And then we need to close the application. So I'll click on close. Perfect. So now my everything in the recording has been completed. I need to stop the recording. So you have to press the escape key so that the recording pop-up screen comes up. And then here you can say save and exit.
Sir, when I have to execute this activity multiple times, how will it save the files? Like with the same name, or will it? How will
No,
it
it
take?
will not save it with the same name. So every time if you do it, it will come up with a warning message saying you need to replace the file. So ideally you will delete it. So as I said earlier, this is not a kind of an automation. We are just simply looking at it the first day. So I took the same example here itself. So ideally you should delete the file and then run it again. But this is not the case of automation. We don't type into the notepad and save the notepad. This is not the ideal environment for automation, but this is an example to show you how automation was started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I hope everything is clear over here. So
Yes.
let us go ahead and do probably we can go ahead and do the basic web recording functionality over here. So let me just create another sequence. So I'll just say web recording over here. Okay. So let me just create this. Okay. So our web recording is very simple. Let me see if the Chrome extension is having some issues or not. Okay. So in that case, we can go ahead with our Internet Explorer itself. Okay. So we'll do the same example that we have already done so that it is much more familiar to us. So we did the IMDb movie rating. There you go. So we can go ahead and do the same example over here. So we can go ahead and do the IMDb movie rating. So we'll simply open up the IMDb website first over here. Okay. Let me close the other tab. Okay, over here. So you can see the IMDb movie rating has been opened up here. Now let us go ahead and quickly do the web recording over here. So web recording is also very simple. You click on recording tab and then you click on web. There you go. So what's the first step that you need to do? Obviously I need to open up a browser. So I'll say open browser, and you have to indicate on the tab which page do you want to open up. So I'll indicate anywhere in the tab over here. So for confirmation, he's asking me, is this the website that you want to open up? Yes, I want to open up the IMDb website. Okay. So my first step is done. So what's my second step? So my second step is I need to type the movie name. So I'll click on type. I'll say typing the movie name. Let's say, for example, you type the movie name. The movie name is Joker. There you go. I'll hit enter. Okay. So now the next thing is I need to click on the movie name. So I'll say click. Where do I click? I click on the movie name. So I'll click on Joker. So my second step, or probably my the next step is done. That is clicking on the Joker file. So let us wait for the page to load. Now our next thing was we need to take the movie rating. So if you remember, going back when we did this example, we had an activity. The activity name was get text. We have a same activity over here, which is copy text. So the name is a little bit different over here. In the activity panel, it was get text, and over here it is copy text, but it's exactly the same. Only the name is changing. But when you look at the UiPath Studio, the activity name would be get text itself. So I'll click on the text and then I'll say I want to copy the text over here. So I'll say copy the text. So you have to indicate which text do you want to copy. So I'll say I want to copy this, the 8.5 movie rating. There you go. And then you don't have a message box functionality over here. So this is my basic recording. I'll say my recording is completed. I'll say save and exit. There you go. So if you see here very carefully, so first activity is opening up the browser. Which URL you want to open up? So my URL is imdb.com. And then what is the second thing? The second thing says I need to type the movie name. The movie name is Joker. And then I'll click on the Joker movie name. And then what I'll do is I'll say get the text rating. The rating is 8.5. Now you can see the activity name is get text. So just for understanding, in the recording, it has been changed to copy text so that the understanding is very easy. Get text, copy text, they both are same. But when you come back to the UiPath Studio, the activity name is still get text. So you can do now the other work, that is saving it into a variable. So you can see in when you do the recording, UiPath has already created a variable for you. So the variable name is span. If in case you don't like this variable, you can change the variable. But since the UiPath recording has already given me a variable, the variable name is span, I'll stay with that variable. All I'll do is I'll use a message box and I'll print the variable. So let me just drag and drop message box over here. There you go. So my variable name is span. I'll pass the variable name span over here. Okay, perfectly fine. Let us run it and see if it's working fine. Okay, it has opened up the IMDb browser. So ideally he should be able to type the movie name Joker. There you go. And now he should be able to give me the movie rating. Yes, so the movie rating is 8.5. So you can see the same example that we did just by manually dragging and dropping the activities. We can use it now using the recording. Here you can always add a new functionalities over here, as in, let's say for example, you want to work with the custom movie name, that is when the user gives it at the runtime. So you can always include the input dialog box over here in the starting, and whatever the user has said, so instead of Joker, you can pass the variable over there, and then making sure that you make modifications in the selector, because in the last example when we saw, so we made the workflow dynamic, as in whatever be the movie name, we will be able to search and click on the movie name, and whatever be the movie rating, we will be able to get the movie rating from the IMDb movie screen. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. Is anybody still having a doubt over here? Let me see the chat box if you have any doubt over here. Okay. Okay. So if anybody can please unmute themselves and ask a question if they have, or can we proceed further?
So what was that message box span? Like I didn't understand that part. Like why we have to put that message box as span or the?
Because if you see over here, when we said get text, we wanted to get the information, that is the movie rating 8.5. So
Okay.
we need to store it somewhere. So by default, the UiPath recording has stored it in a variable. The variable name is called as span.
Span. Okay.
So if in case you don't want to use it, you can come up with your own variable name, and then you can use the
The
same
rating.
variable
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Fine. Sir.
Rating. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I, instead of creating a new variable, I have used the same variable span over there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay. Yes,
Do I
sir.
have, for example, if I type a movie name, but the
Mhm.
rating for the movie name is not there,
Mhm.
in that case, no, there won't be any rating. But that in that case, how we can handle it, because it price exception.
Yeah. So we have discussed it in the previous
Yes.
example itself, sir. So
If condition.
we would add an if condition and we'll say if the rating is there or not, and then you can go ahead. So ideally, the ultimate aim is it comes into how you apply the logic to build it, because you know the activities now, how to play with the activities. Now the only question that comes in, how do I build the automation as per my recording? So basically the logic remains up to you. So my logic would be a little different, your logic would be a little different, but ultimately what we want is the output. So until unless we get the output, we are okay with it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So we have seen the recording. So ideally, we will not be able to show you the Citric recording because we don't have the image installed in our machine, but everything remains the same. So in the image recording, so whatever we do, type the same way instead of dragging and dropping, we will use the image recording over there. Yeah. So now let us. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I have a doubt. Can the same thing be applied on an Android mobile?
Yes.
So here we have a browser and desktop, right? I
Yeah.
want a browser open in my in my mobile. I will open a browser.
Mhm.
There, I want to click one of the app.
Yes. So ideally, I'll tell you how it doesn't. So we cannot directly automate the mobile application, but one of the ways to do it, we can cast it into your mobile, and then probably we can automate it. Sorry, we can cast it into your machine, and then we can automate it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that way we can do it. Okay. So let us go ahead and look at the example that we have for today. So we have the Amazon data scraping. So a very beautiful example and very powerful example, because that gives you the insight of what UiPath is capable of doing. So if in case you have completed the UI interaction course from UiPath Academy, you'd have already figured it out how capable or how powerful is data scraping mechanism. If not, probably I'll show you what we are supposed to do. Okay, so let me show you what we are doing over here. Okay, so our aim is we will open up amazon.com. I'll repeat once again, we are opening amazon.com, not amazon.in. We will open up amazon.com and we will search for automation books. I'll repeat once again, we will open up amazon.com and we will search for automation books. So you can see there are automation books which has come up on my screen. My next aim is I need to store the information. What information do I need to store is I need to store the title of the books. That is, my book title is Building Automation System A to Z, Rise of the Robot Technology. So I want to store all the information, or that is all the book titles into my machine. So that means whatever books or how many n number of books that are present in amazon.com, I'll save the entire record into my system. Where do I save? I can save it into an Excel sheet because we have n number of records. We are storing it in a column, one after the another. So what we will do is we will scrape the data from the amazon.com and we will store it into the Excel sheet. I hope the agenda is clear. What we're trying to do is we'll open up amazon.com, we will search for automation books, and then what we will do is we'll save the entire book title into an Excel sheet. Okay, so let us go ahead and quickly build the automation for it. So let me just open up amazon.com here. There you go. Okay, so let me just copy this URL because I will be needing this URL. Okay, so let me just create a new sequence. Let me name it as,
Sir, one request from my side.
yes sir.
Can you store the image also? That
Yes,
book
we can.
image
Yes, we will be also
in
able
the
to store.
can you add in this?
Yeah,
system.
we will be able to store it. Probably I'll not be showing it now because it would be much more complex, but in this
Okay.
session I'll show, before we end the entire training, I'll show you how to save the images also.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
The price, the book of price.
Yes, we will be able to do that, sir. Let me go ahead and do this. Okay. So I have created one workflow. The workflow name is Amazon Data Scraping. And let us quickly go ahead and build our automation. So we know what is our first activity. Our first activity is very simple. That is opening up the browser. So I'll drag and drop the browser, and then I'll have to mention which activity is, sorry, which URL is it. So I'll say it is amazon.com, making sure I choose the browser type to Internet Explorer. Okay. Let me go ahead and see if this is working perfectly fine or not. Let me see if I'm able to open up the amazon.com page. Let's wait for the bot to start up. Okay. Okay, so here, there you go. So we are able to open up the amazon.com. Our next step is I need to search for automation books. So that means I need to type it over here. So we know which activity we are going to use. So the activity name is type into activity. Where do I type? I'll say I need to type it over here. Now the next question is, what do I type? So in the double quotes, I'll say I'm searching for automation books. Okay. After I click on the type into activity, I type into here, I need to click on the search bar over here. So I have an activity, the activity name is called as click activity. Where do I click? I'll say I need to click it over here. Okay, let me see if this is working perfectly fine. And then we can start scraping the data. Okay, amazon.com is opened up, automation books, search. Okay, so everything is working perfectly fine. Now, from this page, we will start scraping the data. Now, how do we scrape the data? Scraping data is very easy. You can see on the top ribbon bar, just beside the recording section, we have an option called as data scraping. I'll repeat once again, where do you find data scraping? On the menu bar, on the ribbon bar, in the same ribbon recording session, you have data scraping. So I'll just click on data scraping over here. Now, I'll urge everybody or I'll request everybody to please concentrate here, because this is very important to understand, because when you scrape data, multiple windows like this will come up and you need to understand what is the difference or how to deal with each window that comes up. So I'll repeat once again. I've just clicked on data scraping. The moment I click on data scraping, this window comes out. Now let us read the step that is given here. Now it says, the first step says, open up the browser, application or document, or navigate to whichever part that you want to extract the data from. Now, what does the step one says it? Step one says, I know you want to extract data. He's asking us, please go ahead and open up the web page or any other application from where you want to scrape the data. So our first step is completed. We have already opened up amazon.com and we have already opened up the book automation book page. So that is done. The next step it says is, press next in this dialog box and hover over the mouse cursor over the data source. Now what does that mean is, if your first step is completed, click on the next button and then hover your mouse on the data that you want to scrape. That is, hover your mouse on the book title, and then the third step says click that field. Okay, so I'll click on next and he's asking me, please hover onto that data that you want to scrape. So what do we want to scrape? We want to scrape the book title. So I'll hover on the book title. Can you see we are able to easily identify the book title? So this is the book title, this is the book title, and so on and so on. So I'll click on the first book title. There you go. that is done. The moment I click on my first data that has to be extracted, a second window comes up which says select the second element. Now what does that mean? It says to create a pattern, you need to indicate a similar field preferable in the last collection. I'll simplify it in much more simple terms. What does that mean, or what is the meaning of this window is? This window is saying, since you have already clicked on one data, click on one more data which is of the same type, so that I can create a pattern and then I can easily extract all the data. What do I mean by that is, we have already clicked on this book title. I need to click on one more book title so that UiPath data scraping can understand where or how are the book titles being placed in the web page. So I'll click on next. I'll click on the second book title. There you go. Now can you see over here? I'm just scrolling to the entire page. Now UiPath data scraping is so intelligent now. He has already rectified what all are the book titles from the page. Now a new window comes up which says configure the column. So obviously if you see over here, we don't have only one data, we have multiple data. And obviously we will save this data in form of a column, one after the another. So this is the same thing which is happening here. He's saying, I have extracted the text for you. Since we will be storing this into an Excel sheet, give a column name. By default, the column name is taken as column 1. We can change it to whatever name we feel like. So I'll say my name is book title. Sorry for the typo. So my column name is book title. Let us forget about this option, extract URL. Let's not look at it right away. We'll only be able to deal with this right now. So I'll say extract text book title. I'll click on next. There you go. Can you see this? The column name is book title, and UiPath data scraping has captured all the books that is available in the first page. So the first book name was building automation control device and application, building automation control device and application. And when you go and look at the last book name, so the book name is Python Tricks, a buffet of awesome Python features. This is the same thing over here. I hope this makes sense to each and everyone. Now, when you come to this window over here, you see there is a text box over here. By default, there is 100 written over here. Now, what do you mean by that is, it says the maximum number of result, that is the maximum number of data that you want to scrape. So by default, the maximum number of data is set as to 100. You can change to whatever number you want. Let's say, for example, you want only 10 book titles to be scraped. So you can say 10. If you want to scrape 70 book records, you will say 70. Or if you want to scrape the entire book title from the Amazon page, you'll say 0. You can see in the bracket, it says 0 for all. That means if you want to scrape everything, you will say 0. Or if you want to scrape if you want to scrape a specific data, you please go ahead and give the number. So as if now, I'll say I want to scrape only 50 records. There you go. But you can easily see in the first page, we don't have 50 records. It's less than 50. So how will he scrape the 50 data? I'll show you how will he scrape the 50 data. So the moment you say how many data you want to scrape, all you have to do is you have to click on finish. The moment you click on finish, a new window will come up. What is the window is asking us is the data spanning in multiple pages? That means, is the data that you want to scrape, is the data available in multiple pages? Yes, of course, the data is available in multiple pages. You can see here page 1, page 2, and page 20. Now he says if the data is available in multiple pages, make sure you click on the next button or the arrow. So basically we want to click over here and automatically he will scrape or he will scroll to the next page and he'll scrape the data from there. Now, ideally, you have to click on this. So in some website, a triangle symbol will be there, which says this is for the next page. Or in some website, it will be an arrow, or in some website only next would be written over here. So make sure that you click on these symbols in the web pages, which says this means that I want to go to the next page over here. Whereas in case of Amazon, you can see it is written as next with an arrow. So I'll click on yes, and then I'll indicate or I'll click on the button which says next. There you go. So my data scraping has been done. Now, if I click on data scraping here, and if I look at the properties panel, you can see what is the maximum number of result that I want to extract. I want to extract 50. You can even change it from here. Let's say, for example, I want to extract 100. So now instead of 50, you will be extracting 100 from here. So I'll keep it 50. There you go. And now look at this, the output. So obviously what you are doing is you are scraping the data from the Amazon page, and obviously all this scraped data has to be stored into a variable. So by default, UiPath has given a variable to you. So the variable name is extract data table. If in case you do not like this name, you can always go ahead and change the name, but I'll stick to the same name because this name makes sense, because this is the data that has been extracted. So I'll keep the same name, extract data table. Now the next thing is I need to save this variable into an Excel file. For that, we also have an activity. The activity name is called as write range. If you remember in the last example, we were using read range. That is, from the Excel sheet, we were picking up the values and putting it into a website. Now we're doing the vice versa. That is, we are taking the data from the web page and putting it into the Excel sheet. So we'll use write range. Now the same thing, you have two write range available. One write range comes from the Excel package and the second write range comes from the workbook package. I assume everybody knows the difference between both of them now. So for the sake of simplicity, I'll use the write range from the workbook activity. So I'll drag and drop after the extract data or data scraping. Now the same thing here, this is asking me for 3 parameters. The first parameter is the file name. Now, let's say for example, the Excel file is not created. UiPath is so smart that he will create the Excel file and then he will write the data into the Excel sheet. If in case the Excel file is already created, UiPath will say, okay, well and good, I'll just write the data into the Excel sheet. So it simply depends upon how you want to use it. If in case the Excel file is not created, UiPath will create the Excel file and save it. If the Excel file is already created, UiPath will simply save the data into the Excel file. So let me just give an Excel name to it. I'll say the Excel name is Amazon dot with the extension. So the extension is .xlsx. This is the extension for Excel file. And then what do you want to keep the sheet name as? I'll say keep the sheet name as sheet 1 itself. And where do you want to store your data? So I'm not sure about how many data I'm going to scrape. So I'll just say double quotes, because I'll say use the entire worksheet and save the data. And then the data table, that is the variable name. So what is the variable name? Extract data table. So I'll pass the same variable over here, extract data table over here. Now, if you look at the write range properties over here, so you have some of the properties called as add headers. So if you click on add, yes sir.
How to automatically invoke the variable name in the as you have written your extract data table? We used to do it manually, but
Yeah.
while doing in the activity, so how to automatically invoke the variable name as
So
you did here?
Yeah, so this data scraping automatically creates a variable for you. You don't have to create it. So you can see over here in the variable is created. It's automatically created for you. You don't have to create it.
Yes, sir. That I knew, sir. But in case of right range activity, in the last you had written there extract data table.
Yeah.
So
So you
instead
can
of
use
typing whole word,
it's the intelligence. Sorry, I just type EX, the intelligence comes up. I'll use the intelligence from here. That's it. Nothing else.
From that drop down menu, you just selected that one.
Yes. From that drop down menu, I selected the variable name.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So wherever we, okay, in the right range, you can see there's an option called as add headers. So I have clicked on the add headers. So basically what does add header mean is it will also include what is the column name. So if you remember when we extracted the data, what did we said? We said the title or the column name should be book title. So if I click on that, add headers, my column name will also be included. If I don't click on add headers, my column name will not be included at all. There you go. Perfect. So let me just close the amazon.com and let me see if everything is fine. Okay, we are opening up the browser, typing into the browser, searching, and then scraping the data and then writing into the Excel sheet. Okay, perfectly fine. Let me run this example for you. Okay. Okay, there you go. So can you see? It has basically going to the second page and you can see it is automatically scrolling to the third page. Page 4, you can see in the address bar, page 4, page 5. So automatically it will keep on going, navigating to the next page till the time it has captured 50 records. The moment he captures 50 records, he will stop scrolling and then he'll stop the automation from there. Okay, so just keep on scrolling. Did we set 50 or 100? We need to check it later on. Okay. Okay, so it has gone till page 15. Let me just quickly stop the automation and let me see how much data did we set him to scrape over here. Okay, so we have said only to scrape 50 records. I'm not sure why is he going to the all the pages again. Let me quickly stop this. Let me check, is everything fine here? Okay, so we have said him to only scrape 50 data. That's fine. Okay. So you can see the page has only 2 records over here. Okay, so this has multiple records. That is fine. Okay, let us quickly run this automation again and see. Let me just quickly see if it has already created the Excel file. No, so that means he did not went till the Excel file. That means he was still in the scraping example. So let me run this again. Okay, so he'll search for automation books. Okay, fine.
Sir, where does this Excel file comes?
So by default, the Excel file will be stored in the project directory itself. So if in case you want to give a location, a preferred location, then you'll have to say the entire path, as in D drive, your folder name, and then the Excel name. So if in case you don't give any folder name, then by default it will store it in the project directory itself. Okay, so let us wait till the time it completes the scraping of the entire example.
Excel file is having some data with 10 rows. Already Excel file has 10 rows now. So if I want to add this data, like I want to append the data to 11th from 11th onwards, is it possible to append values?
Yes, we have an activity for it, the append range. So instead of writing into the file, probably you can append it into the file.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in the debug menu, debug option, there are two options. For first one is run file, and third one is a run. So how it differ from each other?
So I have already said that, but I'll tell you once again what's the difference between that. Run basically means it will run the main file, the main.xaml file. So every time you say run, it will always run the main file. But if you say run file will basically run the particular file that you want to call. So that is the difference between both of them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Sir,
Okay.
one more.
Yes,
One
yes,
more
sir.
question is, sir. So right now we are fetching only 50 records from this n number of records. I think more than 50 records are there in the Amazon.
Correct.
So if I want to extract all the records, that means still next option is not available.
Yeah, so it's 0. I said, right? So there is an option. If you press 0, that means it will extract each and everything.
Okay.
Okay. So the automation has stopped. So let us go and check. We have the Excel sheet created. Yes, we have the Excel sheet created, the Amazon. Let me open up the Excel sheet. Okay. So ideally it has only recorded, how much record is it? Let me just check the count. Oh, ideally it's the first page recording only it has done. So there, that means data scraping would not happen successfully. Let us do the data recording once again. So that would be helpful to show you one more time. So let me just delete this. And let me just delete the data scraping from here. I'll do the data scraping again. So let me just drag and drop the Excel sheet here so that I'll reuse it again.
Sir, can we use for each page and then loop it for everything the same?
No, we don't need to use the for each because data scraping will always check for data scraping will always move into the next page and then scrape the data from there.
Okay.
Okay, so let me scrape the data again. So before scraping the data, let me come back to the original page, the automation books. Okay, let me check, is the page behaving correctly? Okay.
I guess we have just did the next activity, but the process has not repeated, no sir, the title one and all.
No, I'll tell you. It's the same thing, but the only difference is it's looping to the entire page. So let me do it once again. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'll click on data scraping. Let me open up the web page and the window. So this window says, please open up the web browser or application or whichever page you want to scrape the data. That is done. It says, if yes, then click on the data that you want to scrape. So I'll say yes, next. And what do I need to scrape? I need to scrape the book title. There you go. Now the next thing is asking me, please select one more element so that he can create a pattern. So I need to scrape one more book title. So I'll click on next. I'll scrape the data from here. Okay, so giving a name to it. So I'll say the name is book title. I'll click on next. Okay, so I'll say I just want to only fetch 50 elements from here, and then I'll say click on finish. Is the data spanning in multiple pages? I'll say yes, the data spanning in multiple pages. Make sure you click on that particular next button. So I'll click on the next button. There you go. So I'll just drag and drop the Excel sheet here after the extract data. Okay. So by default, we scrape the data. It is given as true. And then when you save the data is saved in a variable called as extract data table. So what we are doing is we are writing it into the same file called as extract data table. So we have already deleted the Excel file. So he should again create the same file called as Amazon. Let me just verify if we have deleted it. Yes, we have deleted it. And then he'll create the same file with the name Amazon. And then he will write the data into the Amazon file. So let us quickly go ahead and do this. Let me close this. Is there any other Internet Explorer open? No. Let me run the application. Okay. Okay. There you go. So ideally he should scroll to next page. Let me see that if it's happening. Okay, so ideally we can see it's not, the data is not scrolling here. Let me manually scroll and see if it's scrolling further. Okay. Okay, so we got an exception. What does the exception says? The exception says attached browser Amazon message cannot find the selector. Okay. So the selector was not visible. Let me see what's the problem with the selector. Okay, everything looks fine. There should be no error. Let me just verify it again. Okay, so it still says as an error. Fine. So what we will do is we'll scrape the data again. Okay. So I'll just open up the Internet Explorer. I'll type in amazon.com. And what do I need to search for? I'll just copy the title from here. What do I need to search for? I'll say I need to search for automation books. There you go. And then let me scrape the data. We are assuming this time it should work perfectly fine. Let's see. So I'll clicking on next, the title, book title. Okay, that's done. Creating a pattern. So I'll create one more book title. Okay, so ideally he's able to figure out everything. Okay, that is perfectly working fine. Let me give it a name. So I'll say book title is the column name. I'll click on next. Okay, let me say I want to scrape only 50 records. I'll click on finish. Is the data spanning in multiple pages? Yes. I'll click on the next icon and there you go. So I'll just drag and drop it here. Okay, so this should work. Let's run this file. Okay, let us wait if it is scrolling to the next page or not. Yes, so it's scrolling to the next pages. Now we need to check, it should stop ideally the moment he fetches 50 records. Okay, which is not happening here. So probably we'll have to see what is the issue happening here. Okay, so if quickly can anybody do it in your machine and let me know if it's working perfectly fine or not, so that I can rectify where is the issue over here.
Write range is after do activity.
Let me just quickly show you how does it work. Write range is
After the do activity.
inside the extra do
Not
activity.
Not inside.
No,
outside of do.
No, if you take it outside of do, so I'll tell you what's the problem. Okay, if you, let me go back. If you take it outside of do, the only problem is he'll not be able to, okay, let me stop the automation first. If you take it outside the do, so he'll not be able to figure out what is extract data table because I want it to be there in the same scope. So it does not matter till the time it is inside this attached browser, because if you see the variable extract data table is there in this scope. So I want my write range to be there in this scope itself. So this does not matter. The only thing is this is bothering us. And I'm not sure why this is bothering me because, so I just want to check whether if anyone can quickly run this automation and confirm whether if it's running fine or not. Let me see the chat box. Okay, I'm not sure why I'm having a hard time figuring out on the chat box over here. Okay, it is working well in my machine. So we have one success message coming up. Okay. So probably I'm assuming, is anybody here working with UiPath Studio Pro? Just please give me a confirmation if anybody is working with UiPath Studio Pro. Wing, probably I have seen you have said it's working perfectly fine for you. So are you working with the Academic Alliance or Studio Pro?
It's a studio, community studio.
Community Studio, okay, it's fine. No issue. Okay. So since it's a community edition, probably, and as I said, Studio Pro is the new version that we come up. And probably let me see if it's the beta version. Okay, so we can see over here, I'm working with the beta version. So beta version basically is the version which is still not stable. So probably the data scraping would not work, might not be working perfectly over here. So probably we'll have to raise an issue here in the forum. So let me just quickly search up if somebody has already posted that over here. So data scraping Studio Pro. If not, then I'll have to figure out or I have to mention this. Okay, so this is not still yet rectified. So probably we are the first person who was rectifying that data scraping is not working in Studio Pro. If anybody who is working with Studio Pro is able to run the automation, please give me a confirmation. Then I have to check if my internet is not working fine. Okay, so we got an yes message here. Let me try to do it in the Chrome browser and let me see if it works in Chrome browser well. Okay, so we'll do the same automation again, and the only thing is we'll now do it on the Chrome browser. So let me go ahead and do that. So let me just change the type to Chrome. Okay, and let me do this again. Indicate on screen, where do I type? I'll say I'll type here. And where do I click? Indicate on screen, I'll say I'll click here. Okay, so let me just move this somewhere up. And let us scrape the data again. So before scraping the data, all we need is we need to search for automation books. Okay, so let me scrape the data again. So this time I'm using Google Chrome. Let me see if it works well in Google Chrome or not. Book title, okay. Create a pattern, perfectly fine. Okay, so he's able to identify all the pattern. Yes, let me give it a name. So I'll say book title. I'm clicking on next. I'll say I want to fetch only 50 records. I'll click finish. Then he will ask me is it spanning in multiple pages. I'll say yes. I'll click on the next button here. Okay. So I'll just quickly drag and drop it here. And I'll put this inside this. Okay. Let us hope this works perfectly fine now. Let me close this. Let me run this. Okay, so we have got one more yes in the chat box. That means it is working fine. Okay, so searching for automation books. Let me see if it's span. Okay, it is spanning. Okay, the second page, the third page. Okay, so you can see this is working perfectly fine. Probably the Internet Explorer is not stable. The Internet Explorer is not working fine. So we saw the automation is working perfectly fine in Google Chrome. And you can see it has stopped scraping the data on the fourth page. So that means from page 1 till page 4, he has encountered 50 records. Let us go ahead and see in the Excel sheet whether we have all the 50 records or not. Let me refresh it. Here we have Amazon. Okay, so things are working perfectly fine. So you can see we have 51 records. So 51 record is pretty fine because the first data is the column name. So we have 50 records that has been fetched. Okay, so just a heads up, if in case Internet Explorer is not working, then please go ahead with Chrome browser. Probably I'll have to go with the engineering team and I'll just inform them whether the Internet Explorer is causing an error. Probably if it's really a bug, that should be identified or not. Okay, so sorry for the hiccups here, but if in case it's working perfectly fine for everyone, it's okay. If not, then you can go ahead and try with Google Chrome. Okay, so I hope this concept is very clear. I'll show you one more cool feature of dealing with the data scraping, as in, let's say for example, I have only scraped the book title from here. Now, what if let me go back to the first page. Okay, so what if I want to also search, or if I want to extract more data, as in apart from only the book title available, I need to scrape some other data also. So let's say for example I want to scrape what was the date or on which date it was published, so we can scrape that. Or what we can do is we can also scrape what is the overall total rating. So we have 27 ratings here, we have 9 ratings, we have 635 ratings, we have 13 ratings, and so on and so on. So we can also extract multiple data within the same data extraction. So we have only extracted book title now. That does not mean I'll do one more data scraping for date, then I'll do one more data scraping for the ratings. We can do the entire data scraping in one go, but you have to make sure that when you start scraping, you make yourself clear that which all data do I need to scrape. So what we will do now is we will scrape two things. We will scrape the book title and we will scrape what is the rating in the book given. So we'll do the same thing again. So I'll just move it and I'll just remove the data scraping from here, and then I'll scrape the data again. So let me do that. I'll do data scraping. So we are in the first page of data scraping. Okay, that's fine. So now, okay, ideally let's stop that. Let me open up Amazon.com again and do that, or else the selector would be a mistake. And what do I need to search for? I need to search for Amazon books, automation books, sorry. I'll paste it here. I'll search it. So this is where I need to continue from. So I'll say I want to scrape the data. There you go. I'll click on next. So my first scraping is, what do I need to scrape is, okay, sorry for that. Okay, so what do I need to scrape is, I need to scrape the book title. So there you go. Now I have selected the first element. Now is asking me, please select one more so that I can create a pattern. So I'll click next. I'll select the book title here. Okay. Now you can see easily we are pretty much familiar with this step. He's able to record each and everything from here. Now the next thing that you need to do over here is, if you see carefully over here, we'll just give a book title here because we have already done that. Okay. Now there is one more option over here which says extract URL. Now I'll show you what does that mean. Now, what happens when you click on the book title? So basically when you click on the book title, it takes you to a new page. So what does that mean? There is a hyperlink embedded in it, and UiPath data scraping is so smart, you can also extract what is the hyperlink behind it. So that means book title will be building automation control device and application, and we will also extract what is the URL behind it. So if you want, we can do that. I'll say we want to do it. I'll say extract URL. and I'll give the column a name. I'll say the column name is URL itself. I'll click on next. There you go. You can see this now. This is the book title and this is the URL behind the book title. So data scraping is so smart, he can even capture the hidden data. So hyperlink basically is not a hidden data. It's just the second page that it takes you to, but we can also capture the data over here. Okay, so this is done. Now, how many records do I need to scrape? I'll say I want only 50 data as if now. Now the next thing is, if you click on finish, that means you are done with the scraping. But we need to scrape some more data. And where will you get that option? You'll get the option over here in this button which says extract correlated data. What do you mean by extract correlated data? It means I want to scrape more data from the same page. That is correlated data. So I'll click here and let me wait for the window to come up which says please click on the element that you want to scrape. So what do I need to scrape? I need to scrape the rating. So I'll say I need to scrape the 27. Okay, then the same thing, same window will come up again. Please create one more pattern. I'll click next. Earlier I clicked on 27. I'll click on 9 now because this is what I'll relate it to, or I'll make a pattern. I'll click on 9. There you go. Now he's asking me, please give a column name. So I'll say this is probably rating. And then extract URL. I don't think so there is a URL here. If in case there is a URL here, I am not interested in that data. So I can skip that. I don't want the URL to be there. I'll click on next. There you go. You can see the ratings over here, 27, 9, and then we have 635, and then we have 30 and so on. And ideally, if you see, there is one column which is empty over here, this one. Let us look what happened. Winning in the robotic workbook. Okay, let's go back to this book. There you go. Winning in the robotic workspace. And yes, you can see here, there is no rating at all. Here we have 111. There is no rating here. And there is 2 rating. So UiPath scraping is so smart. If in case there is no data, he will skip that part and he will proceed further. Okay. So there you go. And then if in case you want to extract some more data, then again the same thing, extract correlate data and extract the other thing from there. So that's it. I want to only scrape this 2 data. I'll click on finish. And then the last pop-up which comes up, which says, do you want to scrape or is the data spanning in multiple pages? I'll say yes. And I'll point out to the next icon over here. Okay, so I'll just drag and drop the right range over here. Let me create one more Excel sheet over here so that we can distinguish it. So this is Amazon. I'll put it as rating so that Amazon book title and rating. Okay, so Amazon book title and rating. Okay, let me save this. So you can see the same thing over here. When you extract, by default, the variable name is called as extract data table. So I'm using the same variable here to write into my Excel sheet. Okay, so I'll close this and let me run this application again. Okay. Okay, so it's searching for automation books. Okay, so this is the first page. Ideally, you should span. Okay, so you can say spanning to the next page. So he will span till the time he fetches 50 record. The moment he fetches 50 record, he will stop spanning. Okay, so he has stopped spanning. Let us go back to the project directory, and you can see there's a Excel file created with the name Amazon book title and rating. Let me open it up. And there you go. See here, you can see the book title. Ideally, we should have 51 records. Yes. This is the URL. Okay. And this is the rating. So you can say this is rating. So you can see there are some empty records over here. Ideally, that means there is no record present in the web page. Let's confirm that. So this is an empty record. The book name is Building Secure and Reliable System. Let me quickly go ahead and see that. Where is that book name? Building Reliable Source. Okay. The last page is, last book is A World Without Work. Okay. A World Without Work. So this is the 50th record. That means it will be present in the previous page. Okay, let's go and check that. Okay, so what was that book name? I forgot that book name. Okay. Building Secure and Reliable System. Okay, here, building secure and reliable system, and you can say there is no rating over here. So the scraping is so smart. If in case there is no data here, so he will skip that data and he will proceed further over there. Okay. So anybody still having a doubt, probably you can please unmute yourself and speak. I hope this is clear to now, each and everyone. Let me see the chat window if you have anything over here. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Just one question. So after you exported to the Excel, the column is not auto so-called adjusted. Is there any way that we can do it that is auto adjusted inside the UniPath?
So you are talking about this, probably it was not auto in this way, correct?
Correct. So actually, when you open, you have to auto adjust yourself. Yeah. Is there any way that we can make it auto in the UniPath option to do that?
Yeah, probably inside the studio, you'll not be able to do that. Probably in the Excel setting, you can keep it as every time it opens up, it auto adjusts himself. You can do that.
Okay, so you can't do it from the UniPath. Okay, can
no, you can do it from the studio, sir. Okay. So one of the question in the chat. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Yes, sir.
Is it data scraping can be only applied on HTML table on their pages?
No, sir. So if you remember, when we started data scraping, the first line it says, open up the application or workbook or browser that you want to scrape. So you can scrape from any application that you want, be it window application, be it browser, any page that you want.
Okay. What my question is that the web page data from where we are extracting, whether that data should be rendered in HTML table. That can be any structured format. We can extract the data.
Yes, it can be any format, not an issue. But ideally, it should be a set of records, one after the another or one beside the another, so that you can scrape the data.
It should be in the HTML table form, or it can be any form.
So ideally, it depends upon how the web page is developed. So even in the case of Amazon.com, the automation books, we are also not sure whether the page is using HTML tag or it's the div tag, a different container for everyone. So we're not sure about how the pages look like, but we will be able to scrape the data from there.
It's possible, right?
Yes. Yes, ma'am, you had some doubt?
Close the application.
We are not able to hear you, ma'am. Can you please be a little louder?
Do we need to give any like the last activity as a click activity to close the application? Or
Yes. You can also do that. Ideally, we are not closing it, but yes, if in case you want, you can add one click activity and you can close the browser, depending upon your automation need. So I'm not closing it because I wanted only to show data scraping. Okay, so one of the question here in the chat box is, can the user provide the input for searching? Yes, you can use an input dialog box and then you can search for that particular books. It does not matter, but making sure that you change the selector depending on the user input. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
If possible, can you quickly just tell what are the process that you did from the beginning, like and steps like
sure.
Conclusion summary,
Sure. I'll do that, but let me wait for a couple of seconds. If anybody has any doubt, I'll solve that and I'll show you the example one more time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hi, sir. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, I posted in the chat box. So I also try to scrape the price as well.
Okay.
But the price, it seems like there are two elements. When I try to allocate the elements, there are two parts. I can only allocate, for example, the price 24.69. I only managed to scrape 24. The 69, the sense is missing.
Yeah, so ideally in that case, what should be the condition is probably this would be a different entity, this would be a different entity. So they both would not be a same entity. That means this would be a different HTML tag. For example, I'm saying this would be a different HTML tag. This would be a different HTML tag. Ideally, they should be because this is subscript. So this would be a normal H1, H2 tag, or this would be a subscript, superscript or subscript tag. So in that case, you'll not be able to do that. But ideally, if in case that is the case, you can append the data. So what you can do is you can scrape this data, and then using data table, you can merge them together and store the data. That is also highly possible. So see, I'll just clarify things over here. UiPath data scraping will only be able to scrape the data that is visible in the browser. Let me go ahead and do this. We can show it to everybody. What is the issue over here? So you can see over here, I'm only able to do this. But the moment I do this, what I'm able to do is I'm able to capture 10499 and 2 rent. So all it depends is how do you want to scrape the data. See, at this particular time, I'm able to scrape the entire data. That's how the scraping works. Ideally, if I click here, I'm only able to scrape $. If I go a little ahead, I'm only able to scrape 104. If I move a little outside, I'm only able to scrape 99, which is perfectly working fine because these are the three different elements. But if I move somewhere here and there, now you can say I'm able to scrape the entire 3 data. So it's all depends upon how you want to scrape the data, ideally. I hope this solves your error, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Anybody is having a doubt?
No, sir. It was an interesting session today.
Okay, so I'll just quickly guide you through it again because data scraping is a very important concept. So I'll guide the step again. What do we want to do
So,
here?
sorry,
Yes,
just
yes,
one
sir. Please
question.
go ahead. Yes.
When we were doing the just now like the example, we were doing the data scraping. So originally you scrape the title and the rating. So like example now I want to change it to, as just now one of the colleague mentioned, want to change it to pricing. Do I need to restart the wizard again or can?
Yes. You need to restart the scraping again. So you
I cannot
can't
edit
do
the
it here.
property.
No, you can't edit the property here. So that is what I said initially is the moment you want to scrape the data, please make sure what all information do you want to scrape at once, because scraping can happen only one. Because here you can only edit how many fields you want to scrape. Those information can only be edited. So you can't add another information from here.
Okay, understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so let me just quickly guide you through how scraping will happen. So making sure that the browser application or the document, whichever you want to scrape, is opened up into the screen. That is the first step, that which we have already done. We have already opened up the Amazon.com that we want to scrape. The next thing is, he says, press next and hover upon the data that you want to scrape. So what do I want to scrape? I want to scrape this part. That is, I want to scrape the book title. There you go. Then he's asking me, please choose one more element so that I can create a pattern. I'll say next, I'll scrape the next book. So now you can see the pattern has been generated. So ideally, we will be storing this information in form of a columns because we're storing it information in the Excel sheet. So we have to give a column name. If you don't give a column name, by default, the column name will be taken as column 1. So I'll give the column name as title. Extract URL, we have also seen that if there is a URL behind the text, we will be able to extract the URL. So I'll click on next. There you go. And you can see this information over here. Now, let's say, for example, I want to scrape some more data. Let's say, for example, I want to scrape the date as of now. So, and before that, what you can also do is you can say how many records do you want to fetch. If I want to fetch only 10 records, I'll give 10 here. If I want to scrape 200 records, I'll say 200. Or if in case I want to scrape the entire data, I'll say 0. There you go. That is how you can do it over here. I'll say only 50 as of now, or let's say for example, let me say I want to scrape 70 data. If I want to scrape more data, I'll click on this column called as extract correlated data. And then what do you want to scrape? I'll say I want to scrape the date, or probably we can go ahead with the price. So I'll just do the price if in case you want. There you go. Create a pattern. You can say there is no price available here. So we'll have to make sure the data is very accurate. You can see the data is not accurate throughout the page, but let us see if we are able to scrape the price over here. And then let me scrape this. Okay. So you can easily say are not correlated. So I have to scrape some other data probably it seems. So I'll just okay, so as you see the selectors or the field is not, the data is not appropriate because you can see easily when we scrape this data over here, we had only one price, but we have two prices here. We have two rent, two buy. So ideally the data is not in the structure format. That is the reason this scraping is telling us that he's not able to scrape the data correctly. So ideally you'll not be able to scrape it directly from here. So instead of doing that, probably let me scrape some other data. Let me scrape the date here. Do we have a date here? Yes, we do have a date here. Okay, so we can scrape date from here. So there you go. So I'll scrape date. I'll click on next. So you can see date. So you can see many missing fields over here. Ideally missing fields would be the date is not available. Yes, you can say there is no date here. There is no date here. There is no date here and so on and so on. All you have to do is simply click on finish. If in case, let's say for example, you want to extract some more data, as in let's say for example, I want to, extract the author. Probably I'll say who's the author of the book. So I can say even extract correlated data and I'll say who's the author or the rating and so on and so on. So I'll just click on finish as of now. Is the data spanning in multiple pages? So make sure that before you click on yes, you scroll down to the page where there is next available. If in case you are not able to do that, then ideally what you have to do is you have to pause the recording and then come down to the page where there is a next button available. Okay, and then I'll click on next over here. And that's it. It's so simple. You can scrape the data from here. So ideally I'll delete this because we have already done that. Let me save this recording here. Okay, so anybody is still having a doubt, can please feel free to unmute himself and speak. Okay, so before ending this session up, so ideally I'll just again brief you about the Google Classroom the assessment here. So there is ideally two kind of assessment that can happen. One of the assessment is we can have the quiz assessment, or there could be one more assessment. So probably today or tomorrow there would be another assessment which is coming up that would be creating a bot, as in you have to make a bot. So probably I will upload some questions into the Google Classroom and the question will say what bot you have to build. So you have to build the bot in the UiPath Studio, and then all you have to do is you have to zip the entire workflow and upload the workflow in the Google Classroom. Apart from that, you have to also upload the screen recording, as in making sure that the bot is running, you screen record the entire thing, and then you also attach it as a attachment. So two things you have to attach it when, see, there, I'll repeat once again, there is two kind of assessment that happens. One assessment is you will be giving the quizzes, and the second assessment is you will be building bot. Now, if it is a quiz assessment, obviously you will be taken to a page which is the Google Forms basically. So the entire quiz is done over here. So you will be doing it over here. So you give the quiz here and you close it, and then you make sure you mark it as complete. Then only your submission will be done. Now the second assessment is building the bot. So how do you build the bot is, you build the bot in your own machine, and then after you build the bot, make sure when the bot is running, you take a video clipping, screen capture, video capture, and then you have to attach the file. So you will be attaching two files. You will be attaching the UiPath Studio workflow file, as in what do I mean by that is this file. So this is the workspace that you have done the entire project. So all you have to do is you have to zip it, and when you zip it, this is a zip file, so you have to add this zip file as an attachment over there, and then you have to also add your video recording over there, and then you have to say mark as complete. So if you remember in the quiz, there was also an option to add an attachment. Since we did not had an attachment because the quiz was completely online, so there was no need to add an attachment there. So you will only say mark as complete. But when it is a bot building session, you have to make sure that you have to attach two documents. One is the UiPath bot code, and the second is the video clipping, and then attach it and then say mark it as complete. I hope everybody is clear with the Google Classroom.
Where is the zip file comes in?
You have to zip it to yourself, ma'am. Let's say, for example,
which folder the file creates when we create?
Yes. The workspace. So you have to zip the workspace, and then you have to give the entire workspace, upload the entire workspace. So ideally, what you have to do is for each and every bot building assignment, you have to create a new process. That means create a new project. So here you can see we have done everything into one. Ideally, you will not do it. For each and everything, you will go ahead. For each and everything, you will go ahead and you will create a new process over here. I hope this clarifies the doubt for Google Classroom.
So how do you do the recording from? So what are recording we need to do? When you do the run and then you start to record, or you record what you have built?
No. You have to record when the bot is running. Let's say, for example, I am building this notepad example. So if I say run, so you have to record it from this screen. The moment you say run, so all the things that is happening in the screen, this entire thing should be recorded.
Okay, so the next question is how do we do the recording? Because I think is the recording application inbuilt in the UiPath?
UiPath Studio, you don't have a recording available, so probably you'll have to figure out how do you record it. One of the shortcut way to do that is, let's say, for example, you have a PowerPoint in your machine. So ideally, you can do it in that way. I'll show you how to record it in that way. So you have to click on insert, and here you give a screen recording. So all you have to do is you have to screen record it from here. Let's say, for example, I select this region over here. That is this, I want this much I have to record, and I'll say record. And you can see this, the recording is starting over here. Let me run this file, ideally.
Can it be a normal phone recording?
Yeah, anything will be do, ma'am. Nothing. I just want a recording, and let me just stop this recording. So you can see this is the recording available. So you can see the entire recording is running. All you have to do is you'll have to.
And what will be the deadline for this submission?
It will be mentioned. It will be mentioned in the Google Classroom itself, ma'am.
Because as per the schedule, I can see that we have to cover 4 modules before the next.
Yeah.
That is also one of the.
Yeah, that is already covered because we have covered till this part. So since we started with the new topic UI interaction today, so we will add the UI interaction study material also over there.
No. In the schedule before the next class, we have to cover 4 modules.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So that could also be one of the tasks we need to do. Three, I guess.
Yeah, 3. So you will not be having any questions from this. So once you complete your module, then only you will be having the questions from it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but anyways, we need to cover this and finish it on UiPath.
Yes. In the UiPath Academy, you have to complete this.
Okay.
So what kind of bot building will be the question? Like, for example, as an assignment?
That would be, a suspense for you, sir. You will be, once the question is live on Google Classroom, you can see that.
Yeah, that's fine. But whatever topics is covered, only the question will be from that, not.
Yes, no other. So the topics would be from the introduction to UiPath till UI interaction, based upon those topics only.
Sir,
may I check when will you release the assignment?
Assignments probably would be today or tomorrow.
Please make it active till Sunday evening or maybe before the
Yeah,
next.
because I think is tomorrow and the day after is over the weekend. So we also have our own personal thing to attend to. So probably it'll be good if you can let us know when will be the time that we need to do. Then
Make
I
it
can
active till
schedule
the next
accordingly.
class at least.
Okay, so probably what we
Monday.
can do in that
Till
case
Monday
is,
night.
yeah, obviously it will be till Monday because the next session we have it on Monday.
Yeah, so
So
before
everything
the
will be there till Monday.
Thank you so much.
No, I mean
Okay.
no, I mean the time that means the deadline to submit will be until Monday.
Yes, until Monday. That is the time half an hour before we begin the session.
Done. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay. So
Sir, can you please
yes.
repeat the screen recording session?
Screen recording,
Yeah.
sir, this is one of the easiest way. You can always get other tool to record, or either you can use your mobile and record it. It's up to you how do you want to record it. But if in case you are using PowerPoint, then you have to click on insert and then you have a screen recording option here. And now you can record it from here. That's it. As simple as it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So in that case, I think we are done with the day. So I hope whatever exercises have we covered is clear to everyone.
Yeah, very interesting session today. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can we create a WhatsApp group among ourselves?
Why do we need to create a WhatsApp group? So that's the only question, because we have Google Classroom, right? So everything we can do it on Google Classroom itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So because we want only single tool so that you can collaborate. So Google Classroom gives you an option to do that.
So just to share with you, your screen here is a debug file. For mine, which is Alliance, is just a run, right?
Yes, it's just the run. So the Academic Alliance version is basically a frozen version, which is one or two updates behind. So the look and feel would be a little different. That's the only difference, but everything remains the same.
So it's fine. Okay, can.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.